Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a gold Ashe. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. That subscribe button right down there, like right over there, it's great. You should hit those buttons. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join the Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, all that good stuff. So we've got our Ashe here. Playing with a fair as your partner, and you've got that's the Ryan Winston tank line. Okay. Okay, you do have a Mercy. We'll see if they stick to you. Probably not with the fair on the board. This isn't where we usually open, so like you can do this. You can do the I'm gonna shoot here, I'm gonna look for things to do. But if your team is going here and you came through this way, it takes you zero, and I mean zero time to have looked and checked, can I get this? And what would have happened is you'd have seen a Roadhog before you even got close, and you'd have scoped shot the Roadhog, and then probably gone over and done the same thing that you did, because you aren't actually going to beat the Roadhog if he decides he wants the spot, and he got here ahead of you. They had the Lucio. But if he hadn't been here, you'd have preferred to take this angle. Since he was here, quick scope shot to his head, move on, perhaps get breather out of him. That's what we'd like to do. Okay. Again, you should have known that this was coming. He should have already been, not checked, but partially put under pressure. You're going to hit the TNT. Stay on target. We'll deal.
The objective is now active.
You definitely heard that fair firing rockets at you earlier and a general idea of where it was, but okay, that's just a mechanical thing, or are you intentionally delaying yourself to better line up with your team? Maybe, maybe. If so, we don't really want to use abilities to do that. Why are we not trying to shoot at his head? He's a tank. Now that he's turned around, it's a little harder, but like when he was with his side to you, he's a tank. You gotta go for the headshots. Especially when you're scoped like that. Well, really only when you're scoped like that with Ashe, but yes. You can go left, good. Okay. Sixth Sense should be going off for that Pharah. It is. Okay. So, you got plenty of work done this life. Like, this is a successful engage from you. You came up here, you did this. You go, hey, I can do this. Probably didn't need to hit the reload here, but you're doing this. I'm a little surprised that you pivoted over here as fast as you did without any sort of check for, hey, do I need to be aware of the Pharah? Because you know that she's going to be coming after you. Like, that's very clear. And then you can see the Pharah up there. And you didn't just hold the button there, you let that travel a little bit differently than just holding the button, which is good. And you go for that. Sure, good enough. Soldier 76 man playing Ashe muscle memory? Could be, could be. Probably not, though. Probably just the body shots are easier.
That was not in the plan.
Don't really work, though. For these heroes, you need to go for your headshot when you're scoped. Okay. Again, I don't really want you pushing this up main. You're more interested in this, because even if this gives you nothing for a different angle on these guys while they're here, if they do successfully push in, it gives you a stronger angle on them. And at this moment, more importantly, it makes it harder for them to push up here and get this angle on your team because you're already controlling this lane. That would be the thing. We don't really want to just walk it up main as Ashe. We're looking to go, hey, I'm going to get control of this. This is pretty powerful. When you did this, that was fine too. I'm not quite sure who you thought that TNT was going to be for. You maybe felt like enemies should be advancing, but they weren't. You didn't have strong enough evidence that they were. I have a question about that, about Ashe. What kinds of targets should Ashe be prioritizing? What should Ashe be prioritizing? I mean, you're going to take the shot that is there, you are going to take the shot that is there, and you're not going to open the angle to challenge to have 4 people that you can see when you can have an angle that's partially closed with only one person you can see. You're perfectly to shoot at the one person you can see rather than swing your angle open to see 4, 5, 6 people. So you take the shot that's there, but if you have your pick, you're generally going to eliminate the people that could threaten you back first. So, like, if you really have your pick, you're going to go, oh, there's a Widow on the board, let me delete her. There's a Fair on the board, let me delete her. There's a Zen on the board, let me delete him. You would generally slightly prefer to delete the people that are meaningful in a poke fight, or the flankers that are getting up the edge to you. So you're eliminating them sort of by their threat level. That means in most situations, you're going, hey, let me take out other poke DPS. Um, in the case of flankers, as they get closer to you, you get more interested in, oh, I need to check you. I need to put a little bit of damage on you so you're less comfortable getting closer, etc. She doesn't really care that much about the Brawl Heroes because they should never get to her. And as for tanks versus regular, again, you generally prefer to take out the squishies. You're not going to prioritize the tanks. You want the actual eliminations, and you can eliminate the squishies faster. So it's definitely worth doing. You can, very quickly go, hey, we two-shotted a squishy with headshots. Great. So that's what you're looking to do. You're not looking to just constantly pressure the tanks, with some exceptions. There are some situations where, hey, you're playing against a super dive-heavy comp with a super poke-heavy comp, and you go, hey, we're all going to pressure their divers to keep them out, and their tanks would be part of that. What if your aim is bad and you can't hit squishies most of the time? Get better aim. And I do mean that seriously. It's not just aim better forehead. It is you need to work to make that better. Part of that you can do by playing the game. Part of that you can do with workshop codes, with training that we've talked about in other places on this channel that I can repeat here. But what you're looking to do is you're looking to say, hey, I'm going to take the shot that I'm supposed to take. I'm not necessarily going to take the shot that is like limit testing super hard. Let me just be like, oh yes, from here, let me shoot at the Farah that's way, way up over there versus the Reinhardt that's right here. No, the Reinhardt's more dangerous at that point, and you might shoot at the Reinhardt, maybe. But you'd actually be fine shooting at the Farah too. But you're going to go for the shot, and if you miss it, no big deal. Like, you're playing the game to get better. If you miss the shot, no big deal. You should still go for the right shot. Now, that doesn't mean you go for the crazy, crazy difficult shot when there's a really every bit as good, easier shot. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that, but you go for the shot. And if your aim's bad, you work on making your aim better. And you don't go for like the crazy, this is way beyond my ability shot every time. But if you find that you're trying to get too conservative with shots, you're not going to get better at hitting your shots. Well, that's not true. You'll develop a lot of bad habits, though. Yes, yes. Trying to use turbo legs. Oh, I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this hog came up on this angle here. This is why angles are powerful. You were on the angle and you were threatening to them, but you also have to check your other angles. You have to be aware of, wait a second, I haven't seen an off tank that likes to flank a lot. But no big.
Nothing wrong with a little self-improvement. Casting a spell on you.
Then do some practice, Levy. Like you're just gonna have to do some practice, and it's specifically gonna be about crosshair control. That could be, hey, you're hitting flicks repeatedly to this center of this flower pot. Like you're going, hey, I'm flicking to the very center of the flower pot, or to this leaf repeatedly, and I'm flicking from here. I'm flicking from here. I'm flicking from here. I'm doing a full 180 flick and getting as close as I can, and then correct flicking. I'm flicking from here. I'm flicking from here. I'm flicking from here. I'm flicking from here. Like, just you can do a lot of flicks to try to aim at that leaf that you're trying to do perfectly. And then the other thing that I mentioned a couple days ago that was wildly popular for some reason, but hey, suppose people don't know this, so that's fine, is you want to be able to do the, like, say you're looking at this little notch on this, you want to be able to very consistently go, I can move around without my crosshair moving off that. I can keep my crosshair perfectly still on that as I'm moving around. That's something that you want to practice and you want to be able to do. If you do both of those things and then you start with some crosshair placement of, hey, when I round the corner, I put my crosshair where people are, like, I just gave you 3 different things that you can work on, but all those things are factors that add up to your aim that help you out there. And if you work on each of those things, you'll find, oh, it's getting easier and easier to aim. Okay, let's go back to this. Cav 5, yes, that is a workshop code that'll work. Oh, is that in Surefour's aim guide? I haven't seen Surefour's aim guide. I've heard it's good. I probably should go see it. I think IOStuck's also recently put out an aim guide, which I'll want to take a look at. I'm always hesitant to recommend his work after the Goat's Guide he put back in the day.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Right beside you. Let me handle it. My servants never die.
Yeah, let's take a look here. So here we are. We're doing this. You see the hogs there. You see the hogs pressured. Your Winston's already gone up, so you got to back him up, which is the right play. This is going to be a feed by your Winston if you don't. You're wandering in deeper than I would, though. I don't like that you're here because you don't have tools left. I would have actually preferred that you stay here, where you can try to break his hook, where you can drop if it gets too bad. You want to be here because this fight for your Winston was just a throw. If you don't help him, he doesn't want to fight hog. But, and yes, he thinks he's going to primal hog off, maybe. But you still want to keep yourself in a place where you can back out of the fight. Like, even if your Winston goes down, you want to help him so that he doesn't go down. But if it's clear he's going to go down, or if you're in danger of going down, you want to be able to back out of this. You've made that harder for yourself by stepping up here, and it didn't really get you anything by getting more aggressive like this. Is it better to shoot at an easy target and hit it every time, tank, or shoot the hard to hit target and hopefully get lucky? Well, don't get lucky, make it skill. You want to reach for the better targets. You don't want to just shoot at the tank every time, but you do want to shoot at the tank if the tank is the target available, or if the tank is in, hey, they're really like about to be burst down, they're very close to going down. Sure, you can shoot at them. But you do want to go for the harder shots. Remember, you're going to have to be able to hit harder and harder shots as you climb, and you don't want to just go, oh, I'm shooting at tanks the whole time. Like, to actually win, it's hard as Ashe to burst down a Roadhog. It's not so hard to burst down a Mercy. It's hard because you've got to hit the shots, but, like, your TTK is very low on a Mercy compared to a Roadhog, and actual eliminations is what swings fights. Yeah, Game Busters got it right.
My servants never die.
When should Ashe fire unscoped shots? I noticed Lip from Three Shanghai Dragons would see a target and fire an unscoped shot, and then fire consecutive scoped shots. What's the point of the unscoped shots? To soften them a little bit. So specifically when she's got the Mercy boost, it depends on the situation we're talking about. You basically need to hit a scoped headshot and then any damage to eliminate them if you have the damage boost. So you do get a, hey, headshot, and then trying to get the follow-up with a regular shot type thing, just immediately for the damage. You will see that. Other things you will see is, hey, I've hit my scope shot, and now they're in my face, and I just want to, even though it has poor accuracy, I just want to hit regular shots to try to finish this off because I got my good chunk of damage. It's usually you try to get your good chunk of damage, and then if they're actually close to you, you try to finish them off. If they're far away, sometimes you'll see people do it too, and that can be fine. But basically, it's playing with the It's playing with some rate of fire stuff in terms of you notice there's a difference there, and it's trading that for accuracy. So you're generally going, I'd like to hit the big bursty shot, or maybe I'd get 2 body shots if you miss the first headshot, but you're expecting to hit the headshot, and then you're trying to finish them off usually with the body shot. And if you're doing the unscoped shot first, then going into it, it's a little weird perhaps, but it's not wild. It's probably being shot when it's probably happening. I'd have to look at it, but that's probably happening when the opponents already know where Lip is firing from. So it's probably a peek, fire the unscoped shot, scope, fire the scoped shot, unscope, go into regular shot, and it's probably being done to hide the delay because every weapon in the game has some amount of recoil, some amount of hey, there's time between shots, and it's probably using the scope time to hide some of the time between this and going, hey, I want this shot. Then I want to actually scope to get my real damage. Then I'll do another shot, and your scope in, scope out time is covering some of your between shot time. So that's probably why he's starting with an unscoped shot there. I wouldn't recommend that. You can see arguments for it. I wouldn't really recommend that against a target that doesn't know what angle you have against them yet. But if they do, I can certainly see the argument for it. It's a little wasteful clip-wise. No, it's fine. Yeah. Okay. Velking, Mercies, and Lucios are probably not top first priority if you have to ask. Yes, yes. Okay. Right. Yes. Ashe Scoped Headshot is up to 150 damage. The non-aim spam, non-aim spam. So the unscoped shots, non-headshots is 40. Okay. So this would be a case of this isn't really the target we want. We're coming through here. Don't love that we have the same angle as our team, but so be it. We'd put pressure on the Reaper. I'm just not worried about the Reinhardt right now. And you putting damage on him is like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. He's at half health, whatever. Headshot the Reaper. Headshot the Reaper. If you want to take a shot at the Mercy, a shot at the Mercy followed by throwing TNT at the Reinhardt, which will get the Mercy, that could be pretty good. Nope. Nope. So Reaper got in with full resources because you didn't put pressure on him. Even if you hadn't eliminated him, if you'd simply put pressure on him, got him down to half health, you might have scared him into using Wraith. If he didn't have Wraith, he might not have been willing to go for that Blossom. If he hadn't used Wraith or whatever, and the supports had just gone, no, we're going to keep him up, he's going to be just fine, well, that's actually probably more pressure on the Reinhardt than you got by shooting at the Reinhardt yourself, because it pulled the supports off of Reinhardt, and it takes the supports more attention, more effort, more total healing is likely to be lost on the Reinhardt by supports moving over to heal the Reaper than it is by you adding your damage to the Reinhardt directly, which is really to the Reinhardt shield. Whereas your Reinhardt is actually doing damage to the Reinhardt, which, the supports are slower to heal because they went to heal the Reaper. No, and I don't mind that he's not moving forward into the team. Playing from here is fine. Hitting that at Mercy would be nice. See the hog, see the hog! What are you doing? Ah! Did you have a panic moment there when you realized what you'd done? Okay. Why? Why are you getting this close? You were perfectly happy playing from here. You were perfectly happy playing from here. If they were going to try to go to point, you had the shots. You could throw your bob to point. You could still throw your bob down here without getting all the way down here. Your angle was quite nice, and it gave you the option to use cover. You could have even played it right here. You could have even played it right here. And all those give you good cover options, give you a strong angle. Okay, so we've got an utter lack of angle control. We have a little bit of an awareness issue of targets that should be coming after us, and we have a little bit of a target priority issue. But let's see how things continue from here.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2,
Yeah,
1.
99% flex bob. Yeah. Good! Less good. You don't need... I suppose we'll talk about it. This actually doesn't change anything. You didn't really hit him with it, you just knocked you back, but even if you had hit him with it, it wasn't going to really put you out of hook range. Your defense against this hog is this cover, is playing Ring Around the Rosie with this cover. It is not, oh hey, distance, because while distance could be a good defense for you against hog, even if you'd knocked him back a little with your shift, you weren't getting out of his hook range. Distance, if you're back here, sure, great defense against hog, but this actually just made it harder for you to get behind your cover, which is what you need. Okay, correct. He's going to turn for your Rhine. You get to shoot him. For some reason, you're shooting him in the low upper back rather than going... You can still get headshots on him from behind. It's just harder. Okay.
The objective is now active.
Play tighter on your cover. Yeah. Good. Great. Use the tree. Use the tree. No, you didn't have a good enough read that people were there. It's like a moderate chance that there were people there. Why? Why? Like, oh, look at me. Look at how cool I can go through the air. Oh, okay. You didn't really have the health to go do this play. This is kind of a trick shot thing that you didn't really need. If you'd been like, I'm going to shift myself up to here, maybe. If you'd shifted yourself up to here, hopped over and played over here, maybe. But you don't need to be like, aha, look at me, I have the Ashe tricks. Oh, okay. You didn't have the health to pull this off. Mm-hmm. Tuck right, tuck right. Why aren't you shooting the Reaper? Now you have to get the Doom. Yeah. Yeah. Remember, if you hit the Reaper or the Doomfist, they will get scared and get out of the fight a lot faster than the Reinhardt or the Roadhog. And if they get scared and have to play more conservatively, that's going to let you stay in the fight longer, because they're also bigger sources of damage, by and large, than the Reinhardt or the Hog. It's not really fair to say they're bigger sources of damage. They are higher a limb threat, we'll say. Hit a body shoot. Okay. Ooh, mechanical. I mean, you know this, I'm sure, but there's a little bit of a lip here, so you have to step out a little to do that to get up. Okay, you got your Mega. It's probably over. You're not in this fight. Yeah, that was too likely to get you eliminated and staggered. It still might. It's just that he missed the... That was too likely to get you staggered and wasn't likely enough to get you in a limb. Like, you were basically in a 3v6, 2v6 type situation there, and you were sort of going, hey, if I get a limb on one of them and then get out, and my teammates also get out, that's a net win for us. And it is. It'll make your retake a little bit easier, but the odds of that happening weren't particularly high. They weren't, like, absolute garbage because they didn't know where you were opening from, but you were going to have to do a pretty long retreat even if you got that elimination. And you were only going to have one chance to get that elimination before they had a ton of people available to peel for whoever you were shooting at. So, not the end of the world. Why? Oh, because overtime.
I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty.
I'm a little disappointed that you don't just have the timing down to just be like free headshot when you TPs like that. I'd recommend learning it. You're still in metal ranks, so you're going to see enough Reaper. Okay.
Do something!
Why are you shooting Hog in the belly? No, that TNT, and you know that TNT should have been further to the right. You generally want your TNT, you're throwing it, basically to your crosshair, and you generally want TNTs to be placed pretty close to cover. This will still get her if she doesn't move, but you want them to be close to cover because people are going to be retreating from your shots behind cover. So you're going, hey, I would like this to sure to be in the explosion radius if she doesn't move, but I would like to not throw it at her. I would like to throw it to the cover that she's likely to go behind. What often happens with Ashe is she gets some damage on them with her weapon, and then the TNT finishes them off when they're behind cover. That's a pretty common occurrence with Ashe, and it's something that you should intentionally sort of be going for, where it's like, I would like to finish you off with headshots, but in case I don't, my TNT, which is burning you, should get you behind this. And even if it doesn't, it's going to keep you paralyzed behind this, while I get to open my angle further because you're too paralyzed to open the angle and shoot on me. Now, Mercy's not going to open the angle and shoot on you, but that's the idea. So you would like your TNT to err on the side of cover, so because that's where they're likely to go. Yes, Levy. Unfortunate. Okay. Okay, let's move on to round 3 here.
Last minute check. Everyone squared away?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ahorita regreso. I'm out of here.
Good. Why? You're trying to body shot him, that's all that's available. He's already on fire, he's low health, I get it. You could know that the Hog's on his way by now. Like, it's not a surprise. This Hog has been meeting you on the important off angles all game. That's clearly something he's aware that he needs to do. This should in no way be a surprise. You've also gotten a couple sound cues. But if we want this Reinhardt, aim high! Aim high! You can do it. You can aim a little bit higher. A little bit higher. I'm not asking you to aim like right here, but it's just like one crosshair, half a crosshair higher. Half a crosshair higher even, and I'll be happy. You shot him in the leg in the end. You don't have shift. And this is fine. Why are you stepping out here, though? This was fine because you knew what was going on. You were able to go like this, and if the Hog dropped, you were immediately going to shift. Like, you going out here means that he can go, oh, boom. Oh, boom. We don't like that.
Get on the objective. You don't want to miss out, do you?
If you shoot consecutive unscoped shots, the first 3 will be pinpoint accurate. The shots afterward will become increasingly inaccurate until it reaches max inaccuracy on the 6th shot. That sounds like it's from the wiki, so only the first 3 consecutive unscoped shots have consistent headshot potential. Wow, she's lucky. That Hog is terrible, really terrible. Yes, she is. I don't know that the hog is really terrible, though. I mean, this hog understands, like, yes, this hog is obviously making big mistakes here, but this hog does understand that he needs to go occupy these power positions, not let her have these power positions. Like, the hog is clearly doing some things right in the gold game. But yes, there's certainly room for improvement. Okay. I don't love this. I too love when my long gun wielding sniper walks, you know, right into the middle of the fight. Okay. Okay.
Poser.
Yes, Game Buster. Definitely not doing everything right.
Do something.
Okay. So this might feel like, oh, there's nothing I can do. I'm here and there's nothing I can do. I'm making the best decisions I can from here. Like, enemies are on top of me. I have my cooldowns. I'm shifting myself away. I'm TNTing. I'm blowing my TNT up too early. They're definitely not going to be following quite yet. We could have gotten a bigger TNT off of that, but that's fine. I'm not shooting at the Reaper. Instead, I'm shooting at something else for some reason, even though the Reaper is clearly on fire and is a target I can quickly eliminate. Okay, I'm running. I'm using Bob to buy me time. This might feel like you're doing mostly things right to get out, but the reason that this is so hard and chaotic and you're stuck in the middle of the fight in the first place is because you dropped when you really didn't need to. Like, this was fine. You not being able to hit them over there was no problem whatsoever. And if you were going to drop to fight them over here, okay, fine. Do it from here. Do it from here. Don't walk yourself up into this. If you had time, you could go over here and play. You could actually use the fact that you're using a long gun to take advantage of stuff. But, like, even this would have been better than this right here. There's just no reason for you to have walked into this in the first place. You were fine up here. And now you're stuck just fighting on point, and you don't have a good weapon for that. As we've read from the wiki now, your accuracy falls off pretty significantly at close range when you're using your weapon in unscoped mode. TNT? Yeah, TNT's pretty good. I don't know where you are though, Block, because I think you're probably a few seconds behind.
Let's clean up this mess.
Yeah, yeah. But that would have been too much value. Come on now. Why? First off, it's Hog. You know how tall Hog is. You know it's Hog. I don't know why your crosshair is here, but I'm going to slow this down so that you can see where your crosshair is the whole time. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Damage.
Why? Why can't we bring our crosshair up a little more? I would rather you miss some of your shots and be trying more for the headshots than this happen, where you're just all of those are body shots. Like, look at this. It's totally fine with me if you go, hey, my shot is literally half, a third of a crosshair higher consistently. Doesn't have to be like right here. Doesn't have to be that. It can just be like I'm trying to hit right here. I'm trying to hit him in the chin. If you miss, you hit his body, and that's fine. If you hit his chin, you get headshot damage. That said, even if you were aiming like center of the head and you, as a result, missed a third of your shots, that would be fine. Your headshot multiplier would more than make up for that. Like, chin. Aim for him in the chin. And this isn't a have better. This isn't like a oh you just can't aim good enough thing. This is a I want you to actually be trying for neck shots, chin shots, etc.
Fire in the hole!
Fair enough.
My servants never die.
A little help would be appreciated.
Good.
Helden sterben nicht.
I mean, that had to happen. Like, ugh.
They are getting on my nerves.
Fair enough, Blom. Fair enough. And Nitro. Oh yeah, that hog can't be there. Why? You want to air your TNT in the direction that they're going to run. So you see this? That hog is not going to stand right there. That hog was always more likely to run this direction than anything else. This TNT is garbage. If you send the TNT over here, it'll still get him if he's here. It'll still get him if he goes behind cover. You want to be like, hey, this is an explosion. This is TNT. You know, I'm going to throw this so that even if he goes behind cover, it still gets it. I'm going to throw it like this. I'm not going to throw it here. Plus, there could be more targets behind this cover for all you know.
Smoke 'em out of there.
Oh, look. Your TNT didn't reach him, and he went in a completely predictable direction. So, like, your weapon might be a hit scan, but you still do need to think how projectile players think. I mean, hit scan players think predictively with their movement, too, though more so with their tracking than their flicks, and you don't have to track on Ashe. But you need to be thinking, hey, where is this hog going to go? Because that helps. Where is this target going to go? Helps determine where you put your TNT. Lead your TNT. Usually lead it towards their cover.
EMP activated.
Here it comes.
I know it looked juicy, but again, it wasn't near cover at all, and unsurprisingly, they spread towards their covers. Okay, we'll deal. We'll deal. Are you gonna check right? Are you gonna check right? Are you gonna check right?
Do something!
Okay.
I stick
Really?
up for my
Really? You took a shot for the turret when you... Mercy should be eliminated.
There's no stopping me once I get in here.
Okay.
I cast this forth.
Is that question serious, Glossy? Or is that sarcasm?
Fire in the hole!
I don't mean to call you out if it's a serious question. Like, I'm happy to answer it if it's a serious question. But yeah, with Ashe, you're hitting flicks. I mean, you're not having to track the target with these one-shot fire heroes, where it's like click once, it hits once type things that you're not holding down the button like you would with a Hammond, a Tracer, or a Soldier. Yes, you're mostly looking to do it with flicks. Do some people who do one-shot stuff like this make a fair amount of use of tracking in their aim style? Yeah, they do, and everyone probably makes a little bit of use of tracking. I think, who is it? Was it maybe like IDDQD, who, for example, was a hit scan player who does a fair amount of tracking with his McCree shots? Like, you get some tracking worked in, I suppose, depending on how you want to think about it. But no, you're primarily looking with these one-shot, one-bullet heroes, or one mouse click, one-bullet heroes to go, I flick to hit each individual shot. And they can be very small flicks. Like, they can be very small flicks, but you're not trying to follow them around and hold down the button. Now, you can do a little bit when she's in her unscoped mode and her accuracy gets bad. You could do a little bit of, hey, I'm just going to try to do this as tracking type stuff. But when she's scoped, you're absolutely using her as a flick, 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 flick.
Surrender.
My will.
Smoke 'em out of there.
That wasn't deep enough. Oh, it was deep enough. Okay.
I knew you
positioning issues.
Let's get you back in the fight.
Don't walk in. Don't walk into the fight. Why are you walking closer? Go get yourself a nice wide angle to play from. You had to open this angle a little bit. You didn't have to open it up here, and if you were going to open up here, you wanted to go here where it was an even wider open and you had the cover and could close it. Okay. Fine. Back up, back up. Fine. Angle left. Don't just stand here. Angle yourself out to here. Fine. Oh, look, you didn't have cover available. Like, this is where we wanted you. This is where we want you. You have the, if you'd wanted to go threaten this way, you could have threatened this way, but you'd have done it with this available to you. You should be tighter on your cover. Oh, well. And yes, I understand that after this sim wall went up, it would have been very hard to use this, but you would have found yourself a nice sim to beat up on. Oh, well.
Get into position.
Cheers, love! The cavalry's here!
Okay.
Allow me to repair
Fine. Not sure what you're shooting him in the knee. Fine. Not really fine, but I don't want to talk about Reaper. Okay, so back to Ashe, because this is an Ashe review. Here's things that I want you to work on for your Ashe. I want you to work specifically on looking for and holding these angles. So we talked about it a fair bit on first point with, sort of the power position in that room on the side there where I want you to go up that. I don't just want you to go up main. Sometimes you went up here and that was fine. When you were more on point, it's totally fine to swing out to here, but you want to go, hey, I have these wide angles to actually take advantage of my rifle. I don't have the peacemaker that McCree has. I don't have the revolver. I have a rifle that is a fair bit worse in close range than it is in long range. Like, that doesn't mean it's worthless at close range, but it's much better at long range when I can scope and go for those much higher damage zoomed shots there. So we're looking to go, hey, let me play these angles. That's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to adjust your positioning to be more on these angles. And when you're pushing forward, like if you go, hey, I'm going to drop, that's fine. You can still position near cover. These aren't angles. Your preference would be to position with an angle like that. But the real thing that I'm talking about is I want you to position for these angles. Position for the angles. The second thing I want you to talk about is I want you to use your TNT in a better way. Your TNT should be thought of as a projectile, so you put it where they're going to go. Maybe you think they're going to keep running at you, you throw it in front of you. The more likely you think they're going to try to run away from you or get behind cover, you throw it between them and the cover. In such a place that if they don't move, the explosion will still hit them, but if they do move towards the cover, the explosion will definitely get them, and if they go behind the cover, the explosion will still get them as long as you weren't super late on your TNT. That's what you're looking to do with your TNT, and I want you to actively make those thoughts. Like, I want you to actively be going, okay, where are they going to go? Let me throw this there. Oh, they're going to go behind cover because I put damage pressure on them with my weapon. Great. Now I'm going to get that TNT to get value. I'd also like you to do a little bit better job of finding groups, but some of that will happen naturally if you adjust these TNT situations. So First, we're going to make sure we're looking more for angles. Second, we're going to lead with our TNT, and we're generally going to lead towards cover. There's more to it than that, but if you start with getting that type of TNT usage down and that method of helping your TNT, that's going to lead to some improvements. The third thing I want you to do is I want you to try to shoot tanks in the head. When you're shooting at tanks, you should be shooting at their neck region, their chin region, etc. You should not be shooting down at like their lower chest, their belly button, etc. You weren't always shooting at the belly button. Some of those were particularly bad, but you weren't shooting high enough where your shots were 50-50 headshot body shot or something like that. You were shooting where it's like, well, that's just going to be a body shot. You were shooting like square in the chest type shots way too often. And we need to bump up your crosshair like half of a crosshair, a third of a crosshair, a little bit more because you're consistently just a little too low with where you're aiming those. So I want you to do those three things, and I do not want you to try to do all of those at once. I want you working through those one at a time to try to get better at them. One at a time, work on it for like work on a topic for like 5, 10, 15 games. Once you think you've got it locked in, move on to the next. Once you think you've got that locked in, move on to the next. If you find that, wait, I'm getting worse at a previous thing, drop the thing you're working on and go back to working on that previous thing until it really is locked in. And you won't know it's locked in until you move on again. And see that, okay, it didn't get much worse when I stopped focusing on it. At which point it's part of your autopilot. That's what we're looking to do. Okay, I've only got a minute here, but I'll take questions quickly. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. That helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. See rates, all that good stuff. Let's take a look here. How much time playing does it take to build flicking muscle memory? It's not really about muscle memory, more like timing. You don't flick under the target. You rapidly move the cursor over your target and click when it aims at your target. How do I want to answer that? I've heard streamers say they hit a lot of shots based on muscle memory. So, sort of. Like, not, that's, muscle memory isn't quite the right way to describe it. Like, you do perform how you train, and if you train your aim, it will do better, and if you stop training your aim will get worse, if that's what's being referred to as muscle memory. And yes, there is a certain something, and we're all aware of it, where it's like, hey, I can hit a flick at this distance. I'm pretty good at hitting a flick at this distance, but for some reason I'm a little worse at hitting this flick, or I'm a little worse at hitting this flick than I am at this flick, etc. So I suppose you could call that muscle memory. I suppose you could call that muscle memory, sure. Yeah, okay. I don't have the answer for how long it takes because people are different. And what you consider an acceptable level of it is different. Flick shots only apply to heroes where time between shots is slow enough that you click once per shot. You're right. All good. You'll get better at it, Game Buster. Too low. Then shift and respawn. Oh, the soldier thing? Yeah, we're shifted and respawn. That maybe was supposed to be sprint. Who knows? How does having a versus not how does having versus not having a mercy pocket change how you play Ashe in terms of positioning or target priority or anything else? You can position more aggressively if a mercy is actually going to babysit you because you have the option for her sustain, and you also can take people out faster. So it's harder to punish you for the bad positioning, primarily because you can win the duel faster because you can be like headshot, body shot, they're gone. Reliably, and that's great, and it'll let you not get punished because you eliminate the threat before they punish you for it, and you get a little more, oh, someone did get here to challenge me, and I have someone healing me. So you can position a bit more aggressively, a bit on a sharper angle, a bit closer to the enemy team, sort of. Not like closer like this distance, but closer like this distance. You might be like here without a mercy and then here with a mercy if the enemy team is over here, just to put that in, to give you sort of a feel for it. That puts the mercy in more risk, but like I said, you can get more aggressive when you have that pocket. And if the mercy is hard pocketing you, you better get more aggressive because you're going to have to get enough value to justify that mercy hard pocketing you. If she's doing more of a no, I'm just going to pocket whoever's doing work, I'm going to jump around thing, that's going to be a little different. It doesn't quite give her the Ashe the one-shot headshot threshold anymore for the mercy boost, but it's still a pretty big deal to have it. It doesn't really change your target priority. You're still looking to eliminate squishies if you can. Yeah, there are absolutely replay codes. Excuse me, there are absolutely workshops that can help. There's absolutely workshops that are worth using. I wouldn't recommend going to different games, different like warm-up tools outside of the game to get better, but using workshop because your field of vision is different and it changes too much. But I would absolutely say workshop codes can absolutely be great within Overwatch to get better. Yes. Deathmatch can be useful, yes. Oh, I'm gonna have to swap, guys. I'm taking too long with this one. Okay, that's gonna do it. I have another session to go do, so I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.